What is unemployment? 1. Labor force includes those who are eligible to work who are employed as well as unemployed. 2. Unemployment refers to those in the labor force who are not having work, but currently actively seeking work. 2. Unemployment rate is the percentage of people in the labor force who are unemployed. 4. Labor force participation rate is the number of people of working age who are in the labor force. The labor force participation rate. Labor force participation rate is the number of people of working age who are in the labor force. The participation rate is represented in the following way. The working force is often the population less infants, students and the old in age. Factors influencing the size of the labor force. 1. Wages. High wages will act as an incentive to seek work. 2. Social attitudes. More accepting countries will have larger labor forces. 3. Provision for the care of children and the elderly. Greater provision of these services will increase the size of the labor force. 4. The proportion of school leavers who go for higher education. More school leavers in higher education will decrease the size of the labor force in short term, but long term the labor force will be better off. Changing patterns of employment. Industrial structure. As economies develop, employment moves from the primary sector to the secondary sector and finally to the tertiary sector. Employed versus self-employed. In many countries people work for someone else. However, the number of self-employed workers is rising. Private sector versus public sector employment. The proportion of workers in the public and private sector may vary from time to time. A major reason people may like to work in the public sector is because it often has greater job security and higher non-wage benefits. A major reason for the decline in the proportion of public sector workers is privatization and the loss of jobs as firms reduce labor to lower cost and to increase profits. Types of unemployment. 1. Frictional unemployment occurs when it takes time for the labor market to match available jobs with those seeking work, for example those joining labor market for the first time or those who are in between jobs. 2. Cyclical unemployment is unemployment due to a lack of aggregate demand or spending in an economy. Firms reduce labor and unemployment increases. 3. Seasonal unemployment occurs when people are unemployed at certain times of the year, because they work in industries where they are not needed all year round, for example tourism in a country with seasonal weather or fruit picking. 4. Structural unemployment arises from changes in the structure of the economy. For example, consumers' demand move away from domestic firms and toward more competitive foreign producers. The good is not demanded anymore. The jobs creating these goods are now redundant. Also, if minimum wages are too high or labor benefits too generous, these can cause structural unemployment. 5. Technological unemployment. Workers are made unemployed as they have been replaced by capital-intensive machinery and technology in modern production. Measures to reduce unemployment. Frictional unemployment. Increase available information to inform labor where the jobs are or who are hiring and the skills needed for the job. This lower the time taken to successfully obtain a job. Structural unemployment. Provide training to either allow labor to take on new jobs that require new skills, lowering minimum wages or reducing labor benefits. Cyclical unemployment. Government will raise aggregate demand by reducing income tax or increasing expenditure. Consequences of unemployment. Being unemployed has its consequences. On the unemployed it can lead to 1. A fall in income. 2. A loss of self-worth. 3. A decline in the mental and physical health. 4. May have an adverse effect on the education of the children of the unemployed. They may not be able to pay for education beyond school-leaving age. 5. A reduction in chances of being employed in the future. The longer people are unemployed, the more they lose out on training with new methods and technology. Consequences of unemployment on the economy. 1. Less goods and services are produced as the economy is not using all of its resources. Government tax revenue falls. 2. Incomes and firms' profits fall. 3. Expenditure on unemployment benefits increased. Opportunity costs incurred. 4. Possible increased health spending due to poorer mental and physical health. 5. Rising levels of crime.